do some research on the mice brain, so he is actually capturing all those images, wants to put these images, do some pattern matching on those images. Okay? That's all a huge database, image databases, huge image databases. For example, one of the applications, most of the cameras, surveillance cameras, they get the live feed of what's happening in railway stations, airports, all this. Want to match the, match the a person's face with known faces, so that if there is a suspected person among the crowd, you want to immediately catch. Now imagine you have 1 billion no faces in your database. Okay, and you want to, given this, you want to match this face to those faces and then give the information in real time. What is the kind of challenge that you're going to face? These are all issues that you're going to face in near future, and that's why database course is an extremely interesting, challenging, and very rewarding thing for you to be doing this course. Okay, right? So this is something that we are going to look at as part of our course here. Today's content is not very formal. I just want to excite you a little bit about the kind of applications people are trying to do as part of the database applications, okay, with the data. All this is emerging now as what we call as big data, and I think this is a word that most of you will be hearing often now. Okay, this is called actually big data. What is big data? Terabytes of data. And what people wants to do with this terabytes of data, they want to find some patterns and interesting things, and they want to actually figure out what's happening. For example, one of the simple thing is people want to actually capture as much data as about you as possible, okay, and then use it to say what product they should be selling to you, things like that. Okay, so this is becoming a new field now. That's called, from data you want to discover interesting things. Given a large data, people want to discover. For example, your buying patterns. Every day morning you get up, do something, then people know about it, they can target you with something. Okay, they know that every morning you go for a walk and then have a tea, coffee, something, blah 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 thing somewhere, then they can use that information to actually sell a newspaper or something to you. Okay, right? So in some sense, people want to actually have this large data and discover patterns in that data. Okay, they want to discover patterns which are part of that particular data. This is what people are calling as data science now. From data, you want to discover what are interesting things that are part of this data. Okay, for example, huge data, doing some mathematics on this large data and finding out what are the patterns that are part of this data. That's what people are calling as a data science. Okay, one of the most interesting jobs 2015, what is one of the most lucrative job the US has found is this data scientist job. People who are able to deal with large data and then discover the patterns out of this data is what are called the data scientists. And these data scientists are required by every company, by everybody, because everybody is dealing with large data and they want to make some sense out of this large data. Okay, in fact, if you want to make a human being ineffective, give him more data. Okay, very simple. Now, if you want to make any human being ineffective, want him not to be able to work, then a simple thing with large data. Okay, right? For example, if somebody, your HOD is asking you, to tell you some information, like where are you, what are you doing, then you tell him morning 6 o'clock what happened with you, morning 7 o'clock what happened, every minute what happened, you give it to him. Then immediately your HOD will tell you, don't tell me what's happening with you, because if you give more data, he's loaded with this data, he's going to find himself. Now very difficult to deal with level of data. Okay, the minute you load human beings with large amount of data, they are ineffective. So what people want to do is, when you have large tons of data, there should be somebody else who deals with this data and tells what is happening. Okay, interesting thing that's happening out of this data, then he is happy. Okay, for example, if somebody looks at all the data happening to you and then and the HOD gets a report at the end of the day saying that so and so is very attentive in the class, or so and so is not so attentive. He is actually, though this database course was online course being taught by the JNTU, Kakinada Vice Chancellor, to all the colleges, they are not very attentive, they're not making better, then he can act upon it, okay? Or they're making better use of it, then they can effectively make use of what is happening, okay? With people want, for example, they're investing money in providing this MOOCs course to the student. You want to find how effective it is, but then all the data that comes in, somebody has to make sense out of it. What is happening? Whether is it effective, not effective? What is happening? So that is the job of a data scientist. Huge data is there, then you want to discover patterns in that data. And you want to see, for example, people who are buying milk are also buying bread. Okay, then if you are actually stocking this much of milk, you will also stock that much of bread. So these two are going together. The minute you actually discover this pattern, people who buy this also buy that, then you can use that information for doing very interesting things, right? So this is what is called data scientist. Now, one of the most interesting jobs, okay, one of the most interesting jobs that high paying jobs that are coming up in the industry is what is called this data scientist job. In fact, this is becoming a very important thing. And unless you study database course and then study then big data and then study the big data analytics, you will not be able to become a data scientist. And if you're able to do all this well, then I think there is a bright future in terms of the kind of job prospects that you will be getting when you step out into the industry. In terms of research also, there are lots of things people would like to do as part of this big data. Okay, right. I think I'll sort of stop here. I think I've just reached 3:30 now. I'll take a few questions from some of the colleges which are online now and see if they have some. I think we will have some interactive session now, okay, for next 10 minutes, because I can get little, first question I would like to ask is, are there any serious problems in terms of audio video for you people, okay, in today's lecture? If it is, please give me a feedback on the chat session. Are you able to get the audio video clearly? So there's no challenge in terms of the audio video part of it. If it is, then okay. What about others? Okay, right. And I would like to also go to, if any of the colleges are publishing their video, I would like to go to that college and spend some little time with that college, okay? It cannot be just one way, it has to be two-way, because that's where I think it makes it interesting for me. Can any college among the people who are online now, can they identify and then where there is a video feed for me to interact with that college? Any college publishing their video? Will I be able to interact with any college which is publishing its video now? I want to ask few questions to the students. I want to interact with the students. Can any college provide its students for interaction to me at this point? I want to talk to the students, ask some questions. Please put it in the chat box if you're ready. Any one college, can I get it online, please? There's an incentive. If the college comes in and I see the student, I'm going to offer more material. We're going to provide a lot of other material for those colleges which are able to do this. Please understand that. Okay. We'll provide lot more other interesting, yes, I think Putti Sriramulu is saying it's ready for interaction. Let me go there. Hello? Can the noise be suppressed? Yes. Can I get one of the students to talk to me? One of the students can come forward, identify his name. Is that possible? Yes. Yes. Okay. Sure, if I'm actually able to get the session, and I'll only end. I think I need still. I think there was a chat box. Somebody is saying this is from. Good afternoon, sir. I'm Madhu from CSC. Query is if a user does not have any knowledge about DBMS software, then how does he use it? Okay, right. Let me understand your. Okay, any questions you have, please put it on the chat box. I will try to. I'm Muttu. Am I right? Yeah, he's saying that I'm Muttu from CSC. My query is if the user does not have any knowledge about DBMS software, then how does he use it? Right? You're actually providing a front end to the user. You will never expose the database software to the user, right? For example, when you're using the railway reservation software, there is only a web page with which the user is interacting. So user never knows what is the software underneath. Okay, so he is never exposed to the database. You have to manage it and expose a convenient user interface for the end user. So he never need to understand anything about databases. He may not even know that there is a database running underneath and doing all of this for you. Right? So the user, that's where I asked the question, how many of you are familiar with PHP? Because all the database applications now provide only the web interface, which means underneath there is a database running. which we are going to show you now. As part of the course, we'll show you that. The interface is going to be just the web interface. So people will come only to the web interface, look at it, do the work, and then just go off. They don't know what is underneath, what is the software that is running underneath. Okay, whether it's a file system or a database, they don't concern. As a, I know if you look at my wife, she uses the railway reservation thing. She won't care what the underneath system it is. All that she wants, she has reserved her ticket. That should be guaranteed for her. And when she goes to a station, nobody should say no, you have not reserved. The railway should not debit her bank thing twice. Okay, they should they should debit the bank account only once. They should not debit twice her bank account. These are all the things that she expects. Your database software has to guarantee all this for her. Okay, she doesn't care what software you are using. You can use Oracle, you can use MySQL, any of the database software you use. The end user will not ask what software are you using. These are the things that I want. When I go to the railway station, you have reserved my ticket, you should not say I have not reserved, or my ticket, my seat is due to somebody. Okay, and my bank account should be debited only once for the ticket that I have purchased. You can't take it twice or thrice or whatever. I've purchased only one ticket, so one debit only should happen in my bank account. These are things that people expect, and you need to guarantee those things. Okay, and we will see in this course how these things are done by the database software. Okay. Yes, sir. Is it Vijayan? Is it possible to use two parallel database tables for saving similar data and then cross compare them? That's possible. Okay. See, these are things that when we go, this is a first class, so when we go deeper into the tables and all that stuff, we will look at how the database creates the tables, stores the tables, and how it uses. Okay. Somebody is asking, can organizations use big data for maintaining their databases? Okay. First, you should understand what is big data. Big data means that data that cannot be stored in a single machine. Okay. So there are different ways by which people, when you say that you are dealing with big data, you should be first understanding your application should be using terabytes of data minimum. Otherwise it doesn't qualify to be into the big data space. Okay. Most of the applications don't generate that level of data, in which case you don't really need a big data. You can use conventional relational database systems which can do the job quite well, which we are going to see in this course again. Okay. How big data is related to databases? Okay, the big data is also a database. Okay, big data is also stored in a database. So in some sense, the big data is a new kind of databases that are coming in. Okay, big data is challenging the traditional way of handling the data. So new techniques, new models for storing large data are coming up, and most of those are still evolving. There is no one single model or single way of handling the big data. So that's big data is now a challenging aspect of databases. It's still evolving. Some parts of it is now clear for people how to handle large amounts of data. Some things are not so clear. Okay, right? So that's any other questions, please put it into the chat box. Sir, when we alter data in table 1, say, then is it possible to make the same modification in table 2? I think, I don't know who is asking this question. First thing is we still not reached table 1 and table 2. What are table 1 and table 2? We are not going to answer this question at this point, because you have to understand first relational schema. Okay, and then the alterations and all those things will come at that point of time. This is a very specific question. Please defer your question when we deal with relational model and we talk about table specifically there. Then you can talk about how one table relates to another table. So we'll have some way the one key in one table will refer to another key in another table. That's actually called a foreign key, and we'll deal with all these things at a later date, not now. right? Yeah, don't ask that level of specific question. We have still not, gone into the specifics of relational model, tables, and all that stuff. Okay, right. Any other question? Okay, so to just excite you a little bit and then close this session, I'll just show you. Is this my this thing is visible, right? So look at one of the applications that using Twitter, one of the applications that our lab has developed. Okay, this is something. The underneath will be a database. There is a MongoDB, which is a new kind of database into which the incoming tweets will be stored. But then you don't need to understand that. You can just see the application, the newer kinds of applications that people are developing using the databases. Okay, uh, I think I will just use the different interface because the set space there is. You can see this no um, this application where I can say now at this point of time whatever people are tweeting I want to track. Now you can see tracking has started for all keywords. Okay, now you can see these are all the live tweets that are coming in, and you can roughly see how many tweets per minute are coming in here. There are roughly about 1,000 tweets that are coming in per minute. All these are the tweets. You can see the speed at which the screen is moving here. This shows the tweets that are incoming tweets. Okay, and out of this, how many people are retweeting? Okay, this window shows how many people are retweeting. Okay, among these, you can also see how many are positive tweets. Among these 893, you see whether there is a positive content in those tweets. There are 43 tweets which are having positive content. There are 10 tweets which are having negative content. About 416 are having neutral content. Okay. Now you can see there are 452 English tweets. There are 225 Japanese tweets. Okay. There are 113 Arabic tweets, 102 Spanish tweets. As the tweets are coming in, it's being stored, analyzed, and all the statistics are getting displayed for you, in terms of what's happening with the uh, with the incoming tweets. And if you give a specific keyword, you can figure out further with respect to that keyword what are all the tweets that are coming in and how you can process those tweets. This is something of a now as this level of tweets are coming in, you can see it's a very challenging thing to process these tweets and give some kinds of information. For example, you can see the most influential users. Okay, these are having a lot of followers. Most active users, these are the guys who are generating a lot of tweets by themselves, and these are the people who are mentioned most in these tweets. Okay, these are all the things, different things that you would like to do as part of the analysis. And now the question is, how do we develop such applications? Now the question is, from railway reservation application to this kind of an application, it is completely different. Okay, now you might want to also look at how these now new kinds of databases are developed. Now what is the way, as we go along, I'll show you how some of these applications can be developed in the modern context. They are not the same kind of applications that are coming in as we know as railway reservation and other kinds of applications. These also fall under database applications. These are new kinds of applications that are coming for database applications. Now, most of these could be having interesting information which you can use to actually see how this can be exploited. For example, you can see how many are tweeting in English. One way, for example, you can say 10% of the people are positive, 5% of the people in the world are negative, and no, 85% are neutral. They don't have any opinion. Okay, this is what we call as data science. From these tweets, now you can say what is the state of the world. 10% are positive. People who have positive outlook want to do positive things. 5% who are actually negative. They're probably not so happy, and then they're not doing good things. 85% of the people are just neutral. They don't have any opinion. They neither they're happy nor they're just So if you look at, those are the interesting things that you can do as part of this large databases, these big data applications. Okay, this is just a flare. Okay, with that I think I will stop here, and that's something that okay. Uh, right? I think I will stop here, and then probably have to come back on Wednesday, I think. Okay, right? The next class is on Wednesday, so we will try to continue the next class. I think this class is up to, is the class goes from 2 to 3:50 or something like that. Chakravarti, right? Okay, so I think we'll come back in the next class, and then possibly I think it's 2 to 3:40. Okay, so I think I've probably exceeded the time. Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, so I think we'll come back next class.